The head of the United Nations Development Agency and former Prime Minister of New Zealand, Helen Clark, has concluded a two-day visit to Indonesia.
Yes, Helen Clark is currently the UN's highest-ranking woman. Her visit to the Asia-Pacific region comes just weeks after another top female UN official suffered gender-based insults from a prominent Burmese monk after criticising the treatment of a Muslim minority group in Myanmar. Well, you may recall the incident when Widodo likened the South Korean UN envoy, Yanji Lee, seen here in the middle of the photo, to a prostitute.
Our Singapore correspondent Alice Budisatrio spoke to Helen Clark about women in politics and her career at the United Nations, but began by asking her for her reaction to the Buddhist monk's remarks.
I think the comments are utterly disgraceful, and I agree with the UN High Commissioner on Human Rights, who described them as sexist and abusive, and they were.
Do you think the Myanmar government should condemn the remark by the Buddhist monk?
Well, I think in general, world opinion would condemn those remarks. Whether or not the government said anything, I don't know. But what I know is that remarks are completely unacceptable, and no woman in public life or in family life or any kind of life should be subjected to that.
Now, rumor has it that you applied for your current position after seeing a job ad, for the UNDP Administrator. Now, when the Secretary General Ban Ki-moon's term finishes, would you apply for his job?
Well, actually, the story about how I came to UNDP is slightly more complex than that. But I did read in the paper that the previous administrator was intending to stand down. And then it was suggested to me by a very senior New Zealand diplomat that I should put myself forward for the position.
And what's next? Are you interested in the Secretary General position?
Well, who knows? That's a matter for the member states to discuss what kind of leader they want, what gender, what region. There's a lot of complex factors that go into it, and probably the geopolitical factors are the biggest ones.
Do you think the world is ready for a female UN Secretary General? Because couldn't it also be impediments to in negotiations with world leaders who may not agree with gender equality, or who may not be ready with women in powerful positions?
Well, I very much doubt it, and I base that assessment on having been myself as the leader of a country at many, many major summits. I went to Commonwealth summits over the 9 years I was New Zealand Prime Minister. There would have been maybe one other woman most years. Did I ever feel I wasn't listened to? Not at all. In fact, I sometimes felt I was listened to more intently because I was such a rare female presence at the meetings.
Helen Clark there, speaking with Alice Budisatrio. Australia is to compete